America are still there from one day to the next.
Except that the promise of the incoming administration is to wipe away the civic memory of Washington, to get rid of and to fire all of the people who normally transition as civil servants from one administration to the next. The promises on the table are 200 some odd executive actions, an attempt to get rid of birthright citizenship, an attempt to do mass deportation, which we thought was being threatened on the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, apparently, which said, yeah, you can't come here and do that, and maybe they backed down. We're talking about an attempt to portray this peaceful transition of power with people who were convicted in the insurrection attempt attending, with the person who fomented the coup being sworn in as president, essentially insurrection. The idea that the institutions will hold, we just had a content of their character election, and the person didn't get elected due to the content of their character, to use the phrase, the only thing that some folks on the right remember about Dr. King. And so we've now, I believe that this idea of the institutions, which the Bidens clearly, truly believe in, have been completely exposed by this election. I was talking with Michael Steele, former RNC chair, outside. When Trump came in the first time, I obviously was not a fan, had never been a fan. I didn't even watch The Apprentice, so I wasn't a fan. But I had to admit that, you know what, Mark Milley, that's a brilliant dude. You know, so some of the people in his cabinet, they seem pretty normal. I haven't gotten to know Olivia Troy. It's a brilliant, that's a upstanding, good person. This time, are we talking about quality nominees? Marco Rubio is the best choice of all of them. You go down the list of the people, it's no longer a content of their character or great meritocracy. Now it is people Trump likes to see on television. It's people he thinks will praise him. It's people who will give him what he wants and allow him to do to the American people, to immigrants whom Jesus loved. This is supposed to be the great Christian president who is promising to attack immigrants, trans people who are already vulnerable. These are some of the executive orders. The cruelty is the point of this coming administration. So it is very hard for me to look at this spectacle of the takeover of the United States by a base mentality of greed and corruption and say the institutions will save us, because they've not done well for us so far.
We just saw Susie Wiles, the incoming White House chief of staff, there in conversation inside the rotation.